Let's see if we're streaming yet. We're gonna have to take some time to let everybody come in anyway, so let's see. Oh yeah, looks like we're going. Okay, good. I'm going to spend a few minutes here to tweet this out. Let everybody know that we're streaming right now. And you guys can just come in the chat and say hello. If you guys are watching this replay, you can fast forward probably a couple minutes. So let me do this, do some social media stuff here. You can say hello in the chat if you're here. That's cool. We'll get started in a few minutes. We're going to watch episode 2 of Poker Out Loud Vlogger season with me on it. Let's see your channel. Okay. That's me talking. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's just me being quiet right now. Sorry, guys. We'll get this going. I figured I'd just give a chance for everybody to come in, and then we'll get started on the actual stream. All right. If you guys are here, say hello. That's cool. I'll say hello. I'll check on that while we're doing the social media stuff. Okay. That's done. Okay. That's sent out. What else did I do? I did Instagram. Oh, I got to do Facebook. Nobody's here. What's up, Brady? If you guys are here, let me know if you can hear me well. Let me know if the screen looks okay. Is it glitching? It seems to be keep glitching on my computer. I don't know if it's glitching for you guys as well, as we'll just get settled in here. What's up, Pan? Pan, how's the sound and how's the is the screen glitching on you? Why is it glitching? Okay, sound is good, but the screen is glitching, right? Or maybe it won't glitch when I start the video, hopefully. Okay, that's there. Okay. All right, let's just get started, guys. So a couple things about this episode. This is episode 2 of the Poker Out Loud Vlogger season. In episode 1, I didn't play very many hands at all. Oh, let me get this up too before I do it, because I'll see if there's any hands that they skipped over, because they didn't include every hand in the first episode. So in the first episode, I raised pre-flop from the button and won the blinds. And then there was, I think, 1 or 2 other hands that they did not include that I just raised and won the blinds with. So I'm going to bring this up here just so I can see if they skipped any of the other raising tickets, just so you guys get a better idea of what the session was like. Here we go. One second. Here we go. I just have to bring this up. Open that up. Okay. Next week, maybe I'll be settled in better. What's going on, chillin'? How's it going, man? Good to see you, man. Pan, you got to stop working so much. We got to get together soon. All right, so we're starting with hand number 13 overall of the session. Let's roll the intro here and get going. Oop, I just messed it up. There we go. Okay, so before we get started here, if you guys watched last episode, there wasn't a ton of action. There was lots of raise and tickets. Like I said, we are 12 hands in, and there were 5 raise and tickets, and most of the pots were just kind of pretty standard pots. It was definitely a card distribution thing for people, and I'm sure people were just kind of feeling each other out. And it's difficult to get used to speaking on the about what you're doing each time. Landon had experience doing this, as did Matt Vaughan. They both had experience doing it. I think that if I get invited back again, I will be a lot more clear with a lot of my thoughts. I'm actually going to do a video at some point this week. I have 2 other preview clips for hands that were played that I'm going to make a video for, and I want to talk a little bit more about the overall experience, how I was feeling going into it, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so let's just get started here and with this hand.
So folding dust on the button a lot here. I am going to take this opportunity to open this hand, but it's going to be important to realize we might end up in this dynamic a lot, button versus blinds potentially. It could just be card distribution for everybody else, but it'll be interesting to see how these guys in the blinds start fighting back, since obviously both are very capable of doing so. But for now, I'm going to stick with the same open size and continue with the plan.
So before it gets to what I'm going to do, I had actually decided, I had very few spots to play so far. We're 12 hands in, which was actually more like an hour and a half probably, maybe even longer than that, just for filming, and all that stuff. And this is actually the last hand, I think, before we ended up taking a break. So we might have been even 2 hours in, and it's just so slow. So I want to get in there and play hands. So I really wanted to start getting an aggressive dynamic going. So I was going to 3-bet, just without looking at my hand. But I wanted to make sure that Matt saw that I was looking at my hand and not just pretending not to, so I was pretending not to look. And so I just peeled up one card. It was the king. And I was going to go to 3-bet. And then when I put my cards down, the other one kind of popped up and I saw it. So I was like, okay, well now I see my hand. So I actually you'll see I have ace king.
30.
Might have reached my breaking point. Might just 3-bet with only looking at one. I think that's what we're going to do. Oh, I got a good hand though, so being 200 big blinds deep, I'm going to go a little bit bigger than I normally would. So if I could do this all over again, I would talk more about what my strategy would be from the small blind, what type of hands I would be 3-betting from the small blind in the spot. Like I said, I was kind of in the mode where I was just going to put a 3-bet in here no matter what, just to try to get a more aggressive dynamic going and trying to get involved. So my normal 3-bet range from this spot, when we're 200 big blinds deep, is going to be pretty much all the hands that I'm playing. I'm not going to be flatting at all with Landon in the big blind. I want to get him out of the pot as much as possible, and inviting him into the pot with a bunch of other cards just lessens the amount of times that I get to win the pot post flop, and it just puts me in a very awkward and uncomfortable situation. So I'm going to be 3-betting and not flatting this spot at all, pretty much. So anything that I find playable is going to be a 3-bet. So that's everything, all suited aces, like king 9 suited probably, and higher, maybe even lower than that, just like I said, because I was going to 3-bet the spot most of the time. But and then your suited connectors, pairs, things like that. I'm way more likely to just fold a hand like 2s through 4s or 2s through 5s than I am to flat it in these spots against with Landon in the big blind. So I'm just going to go with like a 3-bet or fold strategy from here. Obviously have a good hand to 3-bet with, and it's nice when it's it depends. I think in this type of environment, it's nice when you have a good hand the first time, In other environments, it's better to have a bad hand the first time and then a good hand the second time. But I think this one is probably decent to have a good hand the first time.
I'm going to go to 150.
Oh yeah, and I pick a larger sizing than I think most people do in these spots, just because we are 200 big blinds deep. So if we were 100 big blinds deep, I would go to something more like 110, like 11 big blinds instead of 15 big blinds.
130. So button open, small blind, do bet. These ranges are going to be as wide as it gets, besides blind on blind for opens and re-raises. So my 4-bet range is going to be a little bit wider by default. Like the front of the gun opened, I would, and I 3-bet and they 4-bet me, I'd be pretty scared. But here, some hands that seem like they would be folds would actually be 4-bets. Most of them being like suited Broadway hands, like King Queen suited, Ace 10 suited, Ace Jack, and stuff like that would be cold fours, and sometimes some Ace wheels. But this one's just an easy fold.
Yeah, so what Landon's saying there also is that he's not going to be cold calling, I don't think, in this spot at all, and it's just going to be aggressively cold 4-betting. So hands that play pretty well, even with him cold calling through that, like a king queen suited type hand is fine, but he's just going to be cold 4-betting those hands and doing it pretty aggressively because of this is an aggressive situation with a button open and small blind 3-bet. And just think about what I just said. As far as like my range, what my range is, the 3-bet from the small blind, it's going to be a ton of hands, probably like 25%, 30% of hands, maybe even more than that in general. And in this exact instance, it was going to be 100% of hands probably. So, he can aggressively 4-bet that situation.
Not shocked to see this developing. Obviously, Trevor could be waking up with a hand here, but he could also be trying to sort of set the tone that he's not just going to let me open the button and continue folding all the time. The hand that I have right now, I would not typically put in a normal 4-bet construction, but his 5x sizing feels a little bit like he's going for a fold more. Could just be a standard, but I have a hand that's sort of like okay to start stepping out of bounds with, and I do like starting to set up a dynamic where I'm going to be 4-betting when he 3-bets me, not just auto folding. And my hand definitely functions better as a 4-bet than as a call. He made it 150. I'm going to, I think, go around 2.5x. So it's going to be 375.
So I like all of Matt's thoughts there. I think it's all really good. I think his hand is he definitely doesn't want to flat his hand. And his hand for this first 3-bet is like a really good hand to have to 4-bet with, having an ace blocker. And just like knowing that I'm probably getting pretty antsy and want to play a pot. So I think his hand selection is pretty good here. Sizing is good to 375. I think that's also a good decision. So all his thoughts are pretty good there. If you guys are here, by the way, you guys can say what's up in the chat. You can post any questions you have. I'll be happy to answer them as we go along here.
375. I'm gonna have pretty easy all in here. I don't think I'm going to choose any other sizing, especially with the hand that I have, and being button versus small blind. Not really much else to say, other than my first 3-bet I thought was going to be light, but obviously I have it here, so we're just going to go with it all in.
So we're 200 big blinds deep, so things are a bit different than 100 big blinds deep. 100 big blinds deep, you have... you can easily shove a lot more hands. Whereas 200 big blinds deep now, this is a pretty big jam, obviously. I'm jamming 200 big blinds over a 37.5 big blind 4-bet. So what my range looks like overall to jam here, it depends on a couple things. Just the general range is going to be like ace, king, and probably jacks plus. And then flatting occasionally with flatting with 10s and 9s and some other pairs, flatting with some suited broadways, flatting with some suited connectors being 200 big blinds deep, and then occasionally like I can just get really out of line with like some king queen suited if I want, even though those probably play better as a 4-bet call. But those are like, I don't really want to have an ace in my hand too often to 5-bet jam here all in for 200 big blinds, because we really want him to be bluffing with an ace blocker. So I'm better off jamming a hand like pocket nines than I am a hand like ace 10 suited, let's say. But yeah, 200 big blinds deep, I'm going to have a lot more calls and not a ton of 5-bet jams. That's basically how it ends up breaking down. And then obviously I'll occasionally flat a hand like aces pre-flop to the 4-bet. And just that'll be randomized as far as how often I'll be doing that. I'd have to have a pretty solid read that I thought he was kind of out of line and didn't have a strong value hand. In this spot here, it's also tough in the Poker Out Loud because I play a lot of these situations by feel, and so I know what my ranges are. But if I think that he's light in this spot, then that's going to affect my ranges, obviously. And I trust my instincts. I trust my intuitions. In this specific spot, obviously I have ace king, so it's just like I don't even have to think about what I feel about his range that much. I can occasionally flat or whatever, but mostly it's just going to be a jam. But in game, I definitely thought that he was probably light in this spot. But it does, it's nice to just win a bunch of money pre-flop without showdown when you're going to be out of position instead.
Nothing really to talk about here. I'm not going to be calling off this hand.
What's going on, Andrew? What's going on, Ian? Eric, what's up, man? How's it going? What would I do with aces or kings when he 4-bets? Kings would just be a snap jam all in. Aces, just because his 4-bet bluffs with ace X have decent equity against kings. And so you just do really well by getting it in. And then also getting it in against a hand like ace king or queens or jacks or whatever. Aces, like I said, is going to be a mix, mostly jams. The thing with aces is that when you have two aces in your hand, it just becomes less likely that your opponent's 4-bet bluffing with a hand like ace X, obviously. So it becomes more likely that he has a hand like kings, queens, or jacks that you've coolered. And so I will mostly be jamming them and then occasionally flatting them. Thank you, GG. Thank you very much. And what's going on, Kenneth?
So I wouldn't say there's any one particular opponent that I'm looking forward to playing. I'm just kind of interested to see what the dynamics are going to be like. I think it's going to be more of a relaxed atmosphere, I guess. We're all kind of vlogging and enjoying the process of that. Most of the time that I'm playing in games, I'm playing with no one who's actually trying. Everyone is going to be really trying during this, so they're going to be fighting for every pot, and that's going to be a little bit different as far as what I'm used to in the games I'm used to playing.
What's going on, Rampage? Rampage is here in the chat. And he's here to learn. Nice. It was fun playing this with you, man. Hopefully we get to do this again. Kenneth, he said, this may be a dumb question. Were you guys playing your own money or were software-wide just paying out like winners at the end and including for all players being on videos? No, we were playing with our own money. What's up, Thomas? How's it going? And yeah, so what's the other thing I was going to... Oh, yeah, so that video I filmed, in the hotel room beforehand, I've never played with any. I mentioned this last week on this stream that we did last week, but I've never played with anybody here, and I didn't really have too much knowledge of their games at all. So I was kind of just going in, planning to just do my thing. And like I mentioned this last week, I think as well. But I don't really play that much No Limit anymore. I play mostly PLO. So I was definitely a little rusty, as you'll see when we get to these hands. I felt a little rust, and it's one of those things where I'm like thinking through decisions, and I'm thinking through decisions at the table. I'm also using my intuition that I normally use, and then also I'm having to talk about that out loud. So almost every hand I played during this, I was thinking about, like, later on as I'm just sitting there, I'm thinking about what I should have said, during that hand, what I was actually thinking. So it's a little bit, it's difficult. It's hard to talk about how tough this really is, honestly, to do. Ian, I'm sorry, what's the question, buddy? Are you asking if they comped the rooms? They did not, but they did give us some money for coming out, so that was nice. Jerry Garcia, what's going on? If you were on the button with that hand, are you 4-betting ace 5 off? Yes, I think his hand was a good 4-bet for sure. Yeah, all right, let's go. Suited king here on the button will be open for me. So again, if I was on there again, I would kind of go more in depth about what my range would be to open from the button here. Pretty much all suited kings. When we're 200 big blinds deep with no rake involved, all suited kings, a lot of suited queens also, suited jacks. Like it's just going to be really wide. It's going to be probably like 60% of hands, something like that. Now, obviously, in the position I have here at the table, Landon is probably going to be playing a mostly 3-bet strategy from the small blind and probably pretty aggressively. And Rampage is going to be playing a lot of pots and defending a lot of pots from the big blind. So it's not like I just get to open at will on the button. But most things that are suited and have some playability are going to be fine to open.
Alright. Well,
Why am I echoing?
big blind versus button range. I think this hand suited is an easy 3-bet.
Am I still echoing? Hold on, before I continue here, let's make sure I'm not echoing. What? Okay. Super echo. Let me see here. Is it back now? Still going? Oh my god, what a disaster. Okay, it's back. Okay, we're good? No more echo? Okay. Thank you guys. All right, sorry about that. All right, what was I saying? Yeah, opening really wide on the button here, and let's just hit play.
I really don't know how to play these wheel aces post flop because I feel like they just miss so often. So this should be, I don't know. We're gonna 3-bet this because I don't know. Just want to take it down post or pre, I mean, and then make our lives easy if he folds. But maybe a little bit more difficult if he does call and see a flop. But we'll cross that road when we get there. 120.
So I don't like this 3-bet from the big blind. When you're 200 big blinds deep, I think you want to be like I'm going to be defending the 3-bet really, really wide, and you want hands that are going to have a better playability post flop. Ace 5 offsuit is just going to play really well to call pre-flop, and then call a ton of flops with ace high, and then go from there. On the bright side, you're not going to get 4-bet as often. At least, like this is a hand that I would have 4-bet if I know that if I know that Rampage is 3-betting ace 5 offsuit from the big blind in that spot, then this is a hand that I'm 4-betting a ton of time, and I still would even 4-bet it some percentage of the time, not knowing that. I think it was just probably a little bit too good to 4-bet, and so if I have a hand like Jack 4 suited, I might be more likely to do to 4-bet. But mostly it's just that I wasn't sure what Rampage's 3-bet from the big blind range would look like. So yeah, so I have an easy call here. Can occasionally 4-bet.
120.
So versus 3-bet here at 100 big blinds, easy fold. I think with a suited king here, I can defend profitably in position. So I'm gonna call. Yeah. So what I said there is at 100 big blind stack depth. Didn't turn off my notifications. At 100 big blind stack depth, I would have a fold here. But at 200 big blinds, I'm going to be able to float a ton of flops. I'm going to be able to put a lot of pressure on him being in position and do a lot of other things that you can't normally do.
Alright, so comfortable. In terms of how comfortable I am right now, not great, but it's a good hand. I mean, decent flop. I mean, I should have stronger queen highs in range, I guess. And we do have a gutter, so having the ace of diamonds, I don't know. I mean, I guess we have a draw, and we're just going to start bluffing and repping some sort of strength, because that's where my head's at right now. So 240, and we don't really have to bet super large, so we'll just go a little bit more than 1/3 and go with 95, which that looks like 95? 90, there we go.
So I think, first of all, this is actually a really good flop for Rampage here. Queen 3 deuce is not going to hit a ton of my hands. And additionally, when he has ace 5 specifically, having the 5 is really good because it blocks a lot of the hands that I can continue with that are going to have some sort of straight draws. And then also having ace, obviously you block ace queen. You block hands like ace 3 and ace 2 suited that would be easy defends and then flop calls. So when this board comes out like this, it's a really good hand to start betting as the 3-better and then deciding what to do from there. Probably firing multiple bullets. My hand, I'll tell you. Well, you'll see what my real-time thoughts are on my hand. So sizing looks good. I think 90 into 245 is probably pretty good. Maybe you can go to like 80, but not a big deal.
Very good flop for him. Not a good flop for me. Obviously, I don't have any equity, so I'll have an easy fold here. But yeah, this is going to be very advantageous to his range, and I obviously don't have any backdoor equity.
So even if I have one diamond on this flop, then I do have some backdoor equity here with the straight draws, but I don't have any diamonds. If I have one diamond on this flop, it might be a spot that I raise flop with king 4, blocking king queen, blocking pocket kings. So I would definitely, if one diamond on the flop, I'm either calling or raising flop and continuing. This like queen of clubs, 3 heart, 2 of hearts is pretty far down on the boards that I can really profitably peel a flop bet with. But what hands am I continuing with that I flat 3-bet with? Well, a decent amount of them. So like there's just basically a lot of my other hands. If I have any hands that have 2 clubs or like offsuit hands that have 1 heart, those are all easy flop calls. And then obviously all pairs, even hands like king jack, like king jack of diamonds looks pretty much the same, but it's actually a little bit better. It just depends on what I think he's 3-betting from the big blind. But I might even float that, even that might be getting a little too out of line, but it's still fine. What's going on, Too Sneaky, Too Lucky? How's it going?
Premium 6-handed, so I'm gonna take my standard sizing. Nothing changes.
With pairs here versus I'm going to open, can mix between folding and flatting. I'm going to get in there and start flatting this one here.
So in aggressive 6-max games with 100 big blind stacks, these are way more likely to just be folds, especially when you have rake involved. In this game, in this format, there's no rake, and we're 200 big blinds deep, so you can get away with flatting with pairs more often because you can call 3-bets. So yeah, I mean, I think I don't mind getting in there and playing lots of pots in the spot.
Okay, Johnny's open from the low jack. It's going to be pretty tight ranges, and the small blind call, or cutoff call, sorry, is going to be a lot of pairs that don't want to 3-bet because getting 4-bet's quite annoying, and then some suited cards that you want to take flops with, and hands that probably aren't going to be back raising us. This hand's just a fold, but
So that's mostly true, especially at 200 big blinds deep. Mostly true. I will occasionally just have some flats in here that can back raise, like some ace king suiteds, some aces, some kings, like some big pairs. Like I'm gonna be flatting a lot of different hands here. I'm not just going to, because I'm not going to be 3-betting Johnny's under the gun opens really wide. Because of that, for that reason, I can flat some of the bigger hands as well. Obviously, just because if my 3-bet range is not really wide, then my 3-bet value range also can't be really wide. So occasionally flatting hands like aces and kings and stuff like that I can back raise is going to be fine in these games.
Yeah, that's it.
Obviously, this board is going to favor my range here, opening from under the gun. Obviously, have all of the sets here, even have some queen jacks. Trevor can definitely have some queen jacks here, but his hand is going to be pretty weak fairly often here. I don't want to get overly tricky here. I think that it's fine to just put in a bet here. I don't need to go very big. I have the queen of hearts in my hand. So I'll just throw out a small bet, knowing that can't really mess around too often here. Definitely a spot where I could, pending run out, get 3 streets too, so I don't want to limit any amount of money that I can get in this hand, so we're going to go ahead and bet for a small sizing.
So a couple of things here about what Johnny says. First of all, because of what I just mentioned about flatting a lot of good hands as well, just because I'm not going to be 3-betting a lot, it's not, this board is not as advantageous as you might think. It is definitely still more of an advantage to the under gun player, but I will have some ace king, some ace tens, some king tens, queen jack, pocket tens, some pocket kings, some pocket aces. Not as many, obviously, as the under gun player has, because I will be 3-betting them some percentage of the time, but I will have those hands. But on the other side, I do have a lot of these small pocket pairs. I have suited connectors, things like that are just auto folds. So yeah, that's basically the way it breaks down.
This flop is going to be good for Johnny's range under the gun. He's going to have a lot of the strong hands that I won't have. And obviously my hand here is pretty handcuffed. Can't really do much against a bet, but just fold.
As you can see, I said the same thing that Landon said about not having the strong hands, but I definitely do. So I think I misspoke in that moment, thinking that I'd just be 3-betting a ton in the spot. But against Johnny, who had been playing pretty tight overall, and I expect to have a pretty tight range under the gun, I think I'm going to be doing much better flatting these spots and then letting these guys behind me wake up with some 3-bets rather than 3-betting Johnny.
It will be interesting on the headphone situation because I actually never listen to music when I play poker. I'm very social, so I like to hang out and talk to people, and there's going to be none of that today.
Oh yeah, what John said here. If you guys are here, if you can hit that like button for me, that'd be really great. That will bring more people into the stream. I would appreciate that. Also, what Johnny's saying here, you'll see he talks about how he only used the noise cancellation. He actually clarified that he ended up listening to music because the noise cancellation alone did not work.
It's just going to be me alone with my thoughts. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the noise canceling on and not listen to music at all and just get real zen with it. We'll see how that goes. It'll be a good opportunity to practice meditation while at the poker table.
So that queen 9 offsuit could be an open, but I think it'd just be a little too wide. Especially, I expect everybody to defend properly, so I think it's just going to be way too wide to open.
Alright, once again we're on the button and we're going to be opening. Any ace high should be good enough to open. 30.
So definitely can 3-bet here. Like I said before, not going to do much flatting. And definitely a good hand throw in there.
125. Queen 10 offsuit at first glance is obviously a fold, but given that Rampage is opened 100% of buttons and Marley definitely could be exploiting his looseness on the button and her perceived tightness from the small blind. I could turn this Broadway into a 4-bet bluff here and get away with a considerable amount of time. It's definitely folding is the book play, but sometimes you just want to go against the books, you know. We're gonna toss this one into the mud.
Yeah, see, I'm surprised that this is definitely a spot that I would be cold 4-bet bluffing. Not all the time, but with Queen 10, like I probably would just not be able to help myself and would just do it. And so like you can see that Johnny like wanted to here, like he definitely wanted to, and then he just didn't pull the trigger. And I don't know if that was just like him wanting to make the right play, like which is it's obviously fine to fold there. It's also like you also don't like want to look stupid. Like you put in a cold 4-bet here and then just get jammed on. Like when you're playing on a stream, like it just makes sense. Like you don't want to do that. Everything else here has been standard so far. Rampage opening ace 8 off on the button. Marley taking the same approach that I'm going to be taking, which is 3-betting the hands that she's continuing with and 3-betting ace 2 suited. And then go from here.
So this is one of the issues we run into when this is our third button in a row that we open. Just seems like if we just open fold all the time, seems really exploitable, but that's just one of the issues when you play against solid players, which is something I'm kind of unfamiliar with. But yeah, this is just too weak to defend. Don't really have a plan for post flop. She can do this with just such a high number of hands that we are probably ahead of. We're probably ahead of her right now, but we just have too many issues to run into post flop. I feel like if we call this, so we're gonna let this go and hopefully find a better spot.
Yeah, so definitely not a hand that I'd be calling with, but I would definitely be 4-betting this spot with ace 8 off. Like you don't have to do it all the time, obviously, but you just get to set up an aggressive dynamic in these situations. And when you have an ace blocker, it just becomes way more likely that it works. You don't want to get crazy out of line where you're just 4-betting every single spot, which you can, but it's gonna. If people are gonna adjust, it's gonna happen. But the thing is, being 200 big blinds deep, people are less likely to 5-bet jam for $2,000 when you 4-bet to say $300. So I think putting in a 4-bet here would be a good play. Questions here. By the way, shout out to Rampage, obviously, for being here, watching the stream right now. And then also, obviously, just playing in the game. Like he said, he went on to get exposed from this and learn. And, like, that's awesome. Like, people are afraid of what other people are going to say, and people are afraid of looking like an idiot or whatever. It takes, like, courage and balls to, like, go onto a show and just like say like I might not know what I'm doing. I'm going to try to talk about what I'm doing and learn from it. Like all the chat trolls that have shit to say, like they have no shot. Like the way that you get better at poker is by putting yourself out there, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, and then seeing what you can learn from it, and not thinking you know everything. Like every chat pro here, that comments in the chats, they all know everything, and they're just like amazing players, obviously. But nobody is going to go on and talk about their actual thoughts on what they're doing, and just put themselves out there like that. Okay. Let's see what else here. Wasn't Johnny less incentivized since it was Queen 10 off? Well, the good thing about Queen 10 off is that you block queens, you block tens, you block ace queen, you block ace 10, and it doesn't really matter too much what your actual hand is. You're just playing basically the situation. Wide range opening from the button, wide range opening, 3-betting from the small blind, and now you're leveraging both of them against each other. And you don't have to risk a huge amount of money to do it either. You can cold 4-bet to something like 300 or 325 and get away with it. Yeah, I love the 4 balls, Rampage. Yeah, all right, so here we go. Let's keep him play.
Missing aces.
So it did skip a hand here. So the next hand, Rampage raised with sixes in the cutoff and won the blinds. And now this is the very next hand after that. Need to get some water in here.
Definitely going to be opening a lot of buttons, but not king 3 offsuit. This one's going in the button.
Alright, so this is the first time it's folded to the blinds, I believe. Certainly the first time it's folded to us in the blinds, so I haven't actually given that much thought to how I'm going to approach this. I don't play a lot of blind versus blind in my cash games, so I think I'm going to go for a raise or fold strategy to start, just to keep it simple for myself, and go for a little bit of a larger size. This hand obviously fits in that range, so I'm going to go 4x to 40.
40?
Okay, so versus small blind open, we'll definitely be playing lots of hands here from the big blind. Obviously, wake up with another good hand, so we'll be putting in 3-bet and a little bit smaller than I did the last time against him because I was out of position in that hand. So this time we'll be going to 130.
So I actually don't. I actually think I made a little too small here, just because I think he's going to be defending pretty appropriately and pretty wide, being 200 big blinds deep. I do like going smaller than I did last time. Like I went 5x from the small blind. I think going something to like 160 is going to be better in this spot. Not that it matters much, but just overall, it's going to generate more folds with my bluffing hands, my 3-bet bluffing hands. And I'm going to be defending super wide in this spot, whether it's to calls or with 3-bets. And when he opens wide, larger, I'm going to be 3-betting a little bit more than I would be just flatting. Let me answer a couple questions here. First of all, yeah, Rampage is awesome, like we said here. Best way to learn is to be humble, and humbleness is top thing to improve on in anything you do. Yep. Maddie said, considering your channel name, perhaps a t-shirt that says straddling the nuts would be appropriate, and ironically not appropriate at the same time. Yeah, that's pretty funny. But the straddle shirt is from Poker Rags, pokerrags.us. That's where you can get any Raising Nuts merchandise also. And the straddle shirt's pretty iconic. Garrett wore it on a Live at the Bike stream, and it's just a great shirt. Just it's best. What's up, Mana? How's it going? Yeah, I mean, listen, it's important to keep in mind that Rampage has only been playing poker for a couple of years. I've been playing poker for a living for 16 years. I think, Ethan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 2 years that you've been playing poker, right? So, and the rest of us, I know Johnny's played for a long time, Marley's played for a while. You know, Landon hasn't played forever, but he's certainly studied and put in tons of hours. So, he said he came on the show to get exposed, to learn. It's like, that's just what it is. I mean, he knows that he is going to be in a difficult lineup, not in a normal lineup that he's used to playing in, and putting himself out there. So all the props to him. Edison, what's up, man? Do the headphones work, or can you hear? Yes, the headphones work. I can't hear anything that anybody's saying. We are all people of integrity and have no reason to cheat or to do anything to try to listen to what people are saying. Like, it's just not who we are, and it's not something I would ever do. AG, what's up? I'm looking to buy a house. Do you think my lender will accept an S2 LeBron number 3 and a Giannis number 34 as an acceptable down payment? AG is talking about Top Shots, and maybe. Yeah, Pan said, to put it in perspective, Rampage was 6 years old when Trevor started playing for a living. Rampage was 6, and Landon was 5. That's pretty ridiculous. Grizzled old veteran.
So again, not too surprised with Trevor on my left here to see this dynamic developing, although he likely just had it in the pre-flop confrontation we had earlier.
That's true.
This hand is a little different than the previous hand in that I'm suited, I have a better kicker, so just the raw playability of the hand allows me to play it as a call if I want. I also think that since I just 4-bet folded, it might not be the best moment to use this type of hand as a 4-bet. So I'm not going to fold. I'm going to continue with a call.
Definitely like most of his thoughts there. I also don't mind just 4-betting this hand as well, and like just eschewing the fact that he 4-bet folded before that. Like, it's not a big deal. He could just 4-bet again, and whatever. If it's ace, thank you very much. If it's ace 8 offsuit, I would just go ahead and 4-bet again. Like, just go for it. But ace 8 suited, he gets the call, especially against a smaller sizing. If I had chosen a larger sizing, I think then is where you can start to look to 4-bet it instead.
I'm just going to be checking range on this board.
Very good flop for my hand and range. The only hands I should be concerned about that he has are hands like King Queen and King 10, maybe pocket nines. But aside from that, going to be pretty far ahead of his hands, and we'll be betting at a high frequency on this board for a small sizing. So with 260 in the pot, I will be betting about a third pot. So I'll bet 80.
This is the first time so far during any of these videos, and now we're 15 minutes in, where this is hand number 18. And I feel like I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable about what I'm saying. So I think my analysis there is pretty on point. And throughout this hand, I think it was pretty on point. So I'm just going to let it play here.
So his sizing makes sense on this board. He does have an advantage range on range, and it's also reasonably dry in the sense that there's not so many turn cards that can like change the very strong hands that are available. I also have a hand that has basically, some value through ace high, backdoor potential with diamonds, and against the size I do have to find a lot of continues, so this one I think functions pretty well and should be fine as a call, since I will, at least at some small frequency, navigate to showdown and have the best hand. Call.
New pro ace coming.
So I don't really see any need to lead this card with any part of my range, so I'm still going to be checking the aggressor here.
Turn ace is slightly concerning because a lot of his calls in the flop are going to be ace high hands. And this is a spot where now at this point I'm going to be really far ahead of most of his hands if he has some 9x hands or some smaller pocket pairs. And then I'm way behind the ace x, and if he has a hand like King 10 or King Queen. Obviously he could also have King Jack, but I blocked that. So I'll be checking this turn, and then I'll value bet river if he checks me. If he bets river, then I'll have a decision once we get there.
So yeah, pretty much still in line with my thoughts. Also, when I have 2 jacks in my hand, it just takes away a bunch of his flop calls, like Queen Jack and Jack 10, that are easy check calls. And it's just like a very classic way ahead, way behind situation where he either has an ace or a king, or he has a 9 or a pocket pair. So and then he can have hands like Queen 10 that are also way behind. So I don't think there's any reason for me to start betting.
So this action's pretty interesting. The board still favors him on this turn, but he decides to slow down. I think this would tend to weight him a little bit toward showdown value type holdings, things like queens, jacks, 10s, maybe hands like 8s or 9x if those are in range. He might slow down with a hand like Queen Jack, Jack 10, but I sort of don't think so. I think he still has a big enough advantage. He would keep betting. Also, the turn has a second spade on board, so there are some spades combos he would probably keep betting that he chose not to if he has them. So I think we can eliminate a lot of like the very strongest holdings, although it's certainly possible that he could check a hand as good as pocket aces or ace king, being worried that he just blocks way too many of the okay hands. On this board, I think his advantage is still big enough that I don't want to bet like my in-between value hands and potentially risk getting raised off, not just period, not knowing what to do. So in this spot, I think I'm just going to check call any sort of reasonable size. Maybe if you went for some massive oval bet, I would consider folding, but pretty much checking and check calling.
So it's actually pretty interesting because if he does bet this river, he's probably not going to win the pot, because if he bets, then I'm probably raising and turning my hand to a bluff, making very big, having blockers the Queen Jack, having blockers the King Jack, and then just having like the super nut advantage. So I think checking is actually a pretty okay play by him. Pretty good play. and then I'll give my thoughts here after because there was some comments about this hand in the comment section, so I'll go into a little more depth than what I did here after I talk.
So versus check here, trying to decide whether I should value bet or not. I think he's going to have he could have some queen 10 that could find a call. It's going to be hard for me to be bluffing too often here when I bet flop, check turn, and then bet river. I do think that I have the best hand enough here that I can go for some thin value and just try to get looked up by a 10x hand or maybe induce a bluff from some weaker hand. So I'm going to go ahead and bet something very small and then decide based on what he does.
Okay, so there were some questions in the chat here below about whether my value bet on the river here is good or not. I think actually the person phrased it, what was that bet with jacks on the river from Trevor? So first of all, I'm betting, I think I bet 105 into 420. So very small bet, but it is very thin. But the purpose of the bet is not necessarily, is mostly because if I think my opponent will check raise bluff with some 9x, 9x hands, mostly 9x hands like queen 9, jack 9, 8 9 maybe, 10 9 specifically, then I'm inducing a bluff. And I just don't think he's going to have much value that is going to check raise at all. So it's mostly to induce a bluff and occasionally to get calls from 10x like queen 10, the few jack 10 combos if they want to call or not. Obviously, he's going to have ace x a fair amount here. Like I said, on the turn, it's like a slightly concerning card because he's going to have like the ace x hands. There's three different backdoor flush draws that he could have the ace x hands, and then obviously hands like some ace 10 and ace queen, whatever. So definitely very thin, very small sizing. It's debatable. I don't think it's like an amazing play by me. In game, I was thinking I'm going to bet 105. He's going to make it 500, and I'm going to snap him off, or he's going to make it some other sizing, and I'm just going to jam. I don't know. I was just going to kind of figure it out from there. But yeah, it's for sure thin.
105.
So his small size here would typically indicate that he doesn't want to polarize, so he's probably allowing himself the opportunity to value bet with some of the sort of weaker hands in range. So when he bets this way, he's not limited to, king x or better for value, anything of that nature. He can easily be betting ace queen, ace jack for value this way. Definitely puts my exact hand in a sort of weird spot, but he should find bluffs at the sizing as well.
So that's the other thing I didn't mention is that this sizing allows me, like when I want to bluff here, my bluffs are going to be hands that are the really trashy hands that I 3-bet pre-flop that don't want to bet 3 streets, that don't have good blockers, don't have spades in their hand. So like a hand like 5, 6 of diamonds, if I 3-bet pre-flop, bet flop, now on the turn, I'm still in the same situation that I was with my actual hand, where I'm, like theoretically way behind, way ahead situation. So my river bluffs can be very small in this spot when I take a bet, check, bet line, because the hands that I'm targeting are those small pocket pairs and 9x hands to fold. Obviously, I don't think ace x hands are folding. Obviously, king x hands are not folding. Most of those are betting river. So I can choose small sizing when I go with bet, check, bet sizing. Bet, check, bet line.
I will lose this hand pretty often, but because of the price he's giving me, I just basically still have to stick with the plan and call. I really do think the biggest value of playing, though, is just being forced to talk through your thought process and really not bullshit yourself.
What's up, Jay? Is it boring to play poker when you always know what your opponent has? If I knew he had ace-8, I wouldn't have bet the river there. Jerry said, I had a similar situation recently with pocket queens. Donkey bet into me. I usually fold, but the timing was fishy, so I played the hand and raised his donkey river bet and won the hand. Nice.
About what you know, what you're able to apply, because a lot of times people,
By the way, if you're here, hit the like button.
They understand a lot of poker concepts, but they aren't necessarily applying them well. And I'm no different. I think there's a lot a lot I'm going to learn about myself from being forced to do this again. So as expected, it's continuing to fold around me a lot. This is a hand I'm going to open on the button, but you know, if anything develops, I will not be continuing this time.
30. So against button open, going to be 3-betting this hand. Just got 3-bet. That's it. That's all I got.
That's super analysis for me. So like this is when DGF knows what I'm talking about here. Like this is just not a hand that I would always 3-bet, but when you know that the opponent has not a good hand, just because of mannerisms or whatever it is, you know, your feel, because you've been playing this game for a million years, you've played a million hands, you played literally 12 million hands, you just know. So like Ace-9 is just going to be a 3-bet and he's just going to fold pre-flop. Like that's all the analysis I got. It's not, I can go into what my whole range would be, but against this open, my range is probably 100% because I think he's just going to fold 100% of the time.
Trevor, if he's playing a pot, he's 3-betting it.
There's no analysis on that one. It was just I have to 3-bet this hand.
God damn it!
That's all I had.
I almost just didn't open because I'm like I feel it coming. I can like feel it manifesting.
Standard open cut off here for me.
30.
So it did skip another hand. So Rampage won the blinds the previous hand. I don't know what the action was, but he won that previous hand. Now this is a hand that I feel like I kind of butchered a little bit, but whatever. I felt my way through it.
So this hand, I don't really know. Like 3-betting seems really weak in this hand, but also playing out of the small blind seems just horribly weak. I remember I used to love playing this hand, but as I've played, I get into a lot of tricky spots with it, so I feel like 3-betting or fold would be the better play, and folding seems really nitty. I feel like I just really don't want to put myself in a tough spot in the small blind, so I'm just going to be really nitty here and fold. I don't know.
I think the fold is fine there, Rampage, if you're still watching. You could 3-bet it sometimes, but it's really just kind of trash, so I think folding is fine. Obviously, there's no rake, so but I'm probably going to be in there fighting pretty hard for these pots, so you're going to be in a bunch of uncomfortable spots, and, you know, whatever. I think folding's fine.
So we can dip on here. Trevor opened in the cutoff, and just think I can dip on, see a flop.
So
You'll see after when I get to the turn here, I rethink my flop decision, and this is a spot that I'm like not as comfortable with just because I haven't played No Limit as much lately, and like especially in PLO, you're looking so much into future street playability rather than just instant folds, because in PLO you get less instant folds on the flop. So it's a lot more important for you to have some backdoor playability. Whereas in No Limit, you can just bet 100% of the time because your opponent's just not going to have anything, and you're going to win the pot with just some kind of pure aggression. You're going to get, like in this spot here, I don't mind betting flop because I'm going to get called by lots of ace-high and king-high hands, and I'm just going to bet again on turn and win a lot. And it doesn't really matter that I don't have actual playability in the sense of like making a backdoor flush or anything like that.
this flop is not great for my hand. It's okay for my range. I'm obviously going to have overpairs, and I don't have a lot of barrel opportunities with this exact hand. If I have one diamond on the flop, I would definitely be betting. I kind of want to bet here because it's just going to miss so much of the big blind's range also, but I can get check raised decent frequency on this board when I have my exact hand. So I'm going to check it this time.
Interesting check back by him. He's definitely got a big range advantage, although I probably have a much bigger polarity advantage just because obviously I have more deuces than him. I do not have a club, although I had 2 overs and a gut shot. I just think my hand's too weak to start bluffing. It's just really easy to go crazy in this spot, I think. And when he does check back, I think he is going to be pretty showdown driven, and it's probably going to require firing 2 bullets to get him to fold ace highs or anything reasonable. So I'm just going to pretty much give up here.
Yeah, so I think I would probably just start, like this board is really good for big blind, and I would just start betting with Marley's exact hand. Yeah, and just, you have to bet, and just go with it.
Check.
As I'm sitting here thinking about what I did on the flop, this shows kind of some of the rust that I have in no limit. I think I should actually just be betting this flop 100% frequency. Now that I check back, I'm kind of in no man's land with what to do. Looks like I have a showdown type hand. I don't anticipate her checking strong value here twice, but I'm not really repping too much by betting turn. But I'm not sure if I can pick it up on river in these spots either. I guess I can. So I guess I can just check back again and kind of just rep some showdown value and then bluff small on rivers if it's checked me again. So it's going to check him.
Yeah, so here's the one thing. Like, you can be rusty in some spots, but if you can think your way through situations and then realize the mistakes you might have made early in the hand and how you can make up for that later in the hand and what that means for your actual hand, that's the way to kind of think yourself out of situations. So you'll see as it goes along here how it plays out. Oh my God, there's still 15 more minutes of this, huh?
And again, this river in particular is just bad to bluff on. It's going to be very ace high dense. I have no relevant blockers and it's a very bad hand. And betting at this point would make little sense. I would probably have to go massive and it just kind of kamikaze, so I'm just going to give up.
Check.
So now I have to decide whether I should try to bluff just to get a king high hand to fold. My hand looks like an ace high hand a lot here, so I think I can go ahead and just bet pretty small and hopefully get some fold out some king high hands. I think if she were going to bluff this river, she'd go with the large sizing, you know, with her 10 high, 9 high type, jack high type of hands. She might have just give those up anyway though, so we might have this hand anyway, but I can make a small bet here that would be like an ace high value bet to try to get a king high hand to fold. So.
What's up, Toaster Oven? What's up, Mike Trout? I'm not watching the Sixers game. And yeah, Space, that's basically what I get why she doesn't barrel there, because she thinks I'm just showdown driven, I'm going to call. So I can see why it makes sense, but I still think she should probably go for it. She probably can't concentrate because too handsome.
Standard open here and again.
I like it. Jody, you can come in whenever you want.
I mean, for obvious reasons, this hand makes a good flat. Just want to set mine in position. Don't like to do too much flatting in this spot because I think the blinds are both very aggressive opponents. I'm going to get squeezed a lot. However, Trevor opening under the gun probably gives me some protection from that because they're going to recognize that he's got a pretty strong range as opposed to Landon or Ethan.
If anybody's wondering, we're not looking at each other here. We're just I'm looking at everybody's hands. That's what I look at, because we're not supposed to be looking at each other's mouths and trying to lip read or anything like that. I just watch people's hands to see what they're going to do, because it kind of gives me an idea of what I think the strength of their hand is.
Opening, so I'm just going to call it. Try to set mine to the deuce. And then
30. I'm a little more tempted to actually play this one, considering Marley's flat on the button. Also incentivizes me to squeeze a little bit here, but I don't have any blockers in my hand.
There was another, the hand before this they didn't show either. It was just a walk.
Flop, but I I'm going to stick with playing tight from the small blind and fold this one.
So when Marley flats the button here, she's going to have some Broadway type hands, some pairs, suited aces, those type of hands. I think she's going to be 3-betting most of her strong value hands with this lineup. This board.
So what I'm saying there is that I don't think she's incentivized to flat really strong hands here, just because there's not like major whales in the blinds or anything like that. If there's bad players in the blinds, then you can flat some better hands that you want to keep them in the pot with. But when she just has good hands, and especially I've had playable hands obviously, but we're now, let's see, what are we here? This is hand number 23, and specifically in the last 8 hands I've played like 7 of them, so it definitely looks like I could just have like a lot of different hands here. So
Is kind of neutral, I think. I can attack this situation a couple different ways. I can check this flop and call, or I can bet small. I'm going to bet small. I think she's going to call with a lot of ace high hands as well, so I think we can just start there.
So the reason I bet here is that I think she's just never folding anything. I think I could actually go bigger than what I actually chose to bet, just because I don't think she's folding anything that she flatted on the button here with. They pretty much all have either a backdoor flush draw, or they have a pair and whatever. So I think I could just bet bigger if I wanted to, and go from there.
So interesting bet here. I would have expected him to play this spot as a pure check. This board just smashes my button flat range. And if he did bet, I would have expected him to go a bit small. He's definitely deciding to just start polarizing himself right out here on the flop. And I do have a very strong range and infinitely better hands. However, I don't think my hands, I think my hand's just too good to fold to 1-bet. So we're going to call and proceed to the turn.
So we have definitely different views on how we're approaching this spot. I'm going to be betting, I'm not going to be pure checking this spot at all. I'm just going to be betting like everything that I open on the gun pretty much, because on this board texture, a lot of my hands are going to have backdoor straight draws or backdoor flush draws, or they're going to have good blockers to the Jack X hands, or they're going to be pairs that are value that I'm betting, or I'm going to have trips, whatever. And I think she's just going to continue a lot, which is going to give me the ability to barrel twice, or play my hand depending on how I want to play it. But I think she's just going to be. I don't think she's going to have a ton of really strong hands here. She'll have some suited jacks or whatever, but it's hard to make trips. Really hard to make trips. What's going on, Steve?
Not surprised to see her call on the flop. I think she's going to continue on this board texture with most of the hands that she flatted on the button with. On the turn here, I can go a couple different ways. I can bet again for value and protection versus some of those ace high and king high floats. I can check and see what develops on turn, check and do some bluffs. I think the easier route is just to bet. I think it's not often that you get bluff raised in this spot when I bet twice. And then I can decide what to do on some rivers. It gets a little tricky on rivers. Checking keeps the pot size a little bit down, and I can value bet rivers on a lot of rivers, but it also leaves me open to not protecting my hand against some of those floats. So kind of on the fence on what to do here. I think I'm going to go with another bet because I'm going to be bluffing with some hands here on the turn that turn equity, like King Queen of Hearts, King 10 of Hearts, any of those heart draw type hands. So might be a little thin to bet here again for value, but it feels like I have the best hand enough that I should do so.
So basically, I wouldn't advocate always betting twice here with eights, because a lot of times when you get called again, it's because you're behind. She can have hands like 9s and 10s still. She obviously can have some Jack X hands. And then, like I said, it gets really dicey on rivers what to do, because it's mostly going to be checking to fold. I can't ever get 3 streets versus worse hands too often. And it just gets dicey. But again, this is a feel play. Like, when you feel and you feel like you have the best hand, you bet again, right? I mean, you're protecting your hand, you're getting value. that's just how it goes. What's up, Mark? How's it going? Good evening, morning.
So we're going to fold here. When he continues in this turn, he's going to have some turned hearts. And obviously, you know, some overpairs, some trips. We do have a heart, but it's pretty relevant blocker. It's not going to open many suited deuces.
Also, I just thought of this, but just pointing this out, it becomes far better to check a hand like queens or kings in this spot on turn than it does eights, just because when I have queens or kings, I block those trip combinations, and also it becomes a spot where I can go bet, check, bet for value in those spots, or I can induce some bets from weaker hands on turn. So it just, the eights need a little more protection than a hand like queens or kings do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to fold. We have just better hands.
Mike Trout, get us up to 69 watchers here. We need 69 people watching. We need 69 likes.
What's worth saying too, if you would have checked the
No,
flop,
I'll be all
definitely want to be betting my hand.
Oh, yeah.
And can definitely check back some stronger pairs, but obviously we need more protection, so we'll bet flop and check.
All right, we're on to the last hand of the night. Jody is here. She's on the other side of the camera. She just set this light up in my face. We'll get into this hand in a second, but question here from Mike Trout says, who would you say is the biggest aspiring whale in the lineup with you during this game? Biggest aspiring whale has to be Rampage. And I love you, Rampage, but you're the biggest aspiring whale. You should check out pokerrags.us, where you can get a new aspiring whale shirt. Frozen?
No, my friend is. It could just be my internet.
So this is not a hand that's in my typical construction, but in the words of Trevor, I'm getting a little bit bored, and this is a hand that's going to function pretty okay as a 3-bet. I'm a little concerned with Landon not having a whole lot to say about this hand before opening it, but I think he's just talking less for the open raises. So we're going to go for a 3-bet, going to go around 4x here. 125.
So this is definitely Matt getting out of line here, and this is just a function of wanting to play pots. Like, I don't think Matt would normally 3-bet this hand from the small blind versus Landon's under the gun open, but it's, you know, so this is hand number 24. Matt hasn't really had anything to do in the last 7 hands, which is like an hour from the filming and the talking. So, like, this is just why he 3-bets the hand.
Okay. There might be blood in the streets. So, I think a common mistake that people tend to make with a hand like this is they try to get all the money in as soon as possible. And while that may be true 100 big blinds deep in some cases, like button versus small blind.
I'm laughing. I was laughing at something you said.
Where I'm opening very tight, and his 3-betting range is going to be a lot tighter than if I was the button itself. This hand actually gets into calls and traps more than one might think. And the way that I normally do it is I randomize by suit, and because I don't have a diamond, especially not the ace of diamonds, I'm going to...
So DGF will tell you this is something he does. He randomizes by suit whether or not to 4-bet or not.
Play this as a call.
You do that too, right?
And it's nice to have this...
You randomize by suit whether you're going to 4-bet or not? Yeah, you're probably not even on the camera.
Have some very easy call downs with the hand as strong as ace king, to where he doesn't just have the quote-unquote ace-king advantage in spots like that, so we protect ourselves on ace and king boards. And being 200 big blinds deep, I'm less incentivized to get all the money in, because if I do face a 5-bet, it's not really the greatest thing in the world. So we're just going to call here.
So obviously getting called was not our first plan, but this board is fairly dry.
You're not on the camera. You're
Definitely
on the camera.
favors his range and not mine. I have a lot more jack
Right.
X
We're almost done.
I will, but I can have all the overpairs in my range. Probably can't. I do also have some kind of sneaky backdoors going on here. Can hit a backdoor flush. I have one backdoor straight draw, so I am going to c-bet, and I'll be taking just sort of a normal, smaller size here.
So I think most of their thoughts here are pretty on point as far as if you're going to 3-bet, if you're going to 3-bet 4-3 suited from small blind, yeah, I guess you start betting here with backdoor flush draw, Jack 7. Another spot though, again, like I don't expect Landon to have pretty much any folds on this board. I guess it would have to be like ace 5 of spades that didn't 4-bet. Yeah, I guess hands like that, maybe like the spade combos, but like most of the other hands are going to have backdoors or good blockers or pairs that are going to float. Yeah, whale is a term of endearment. Whale is a good thing. If you're a whale, that means you're winning in life.
Okay, he bets 85 into. He bets about a third pot, which is good. He's going to have some concentration of Jack X for trips. Obviously, having an ace and a king is nice because we block ace Jack and king Jack. And specifically, if you look at the suits of our hand, with the ace of clubs and the ace of clubs and the king of hearts, we actually don't block him from having ace Jack suited and king Jack suited, which is actually might be a problem on later streets because it's more likely that he does have a combo of trips and then he doesn't. This hand for sure we have to take one off because we have showdown value and we still beat some of his bluffs. And hands
Train is going off the tracks.
Some smaller pairs that we're doing well against, like tens, and also going to have some ace wheel type hands. So in this spot we do block some of his backdoor bluffs, but our hand at this point is still too good to fold to a 1/3 bet. So we're just going to call.
Alright, so we get called, obviously, again, not the first play, but the backup plan is to continue to barrel on some cards where we pick up equity. This is one of those cards and also probably helps my range marginally more than helps his. I could have queens, ace queen, king queen in range here. Pick up some equity and continue betting. I don't think I'm going to use a big size though, because in general I'm not really like representing a jack here. I'm representing a little bit of a slightly weaker value range. So I'm going to pick a smaller size. Pot was 260, both put in 85. So I'm going to go ahead and bet 150.
I think Matt's thoughts are pretty on point all around here. Just choosing his sizing based on what he thinks he's representing. Now it's just a question of, does he want to bet kings and aces again on this turn? Does he want to bet queens here on this turn? You know, and then how many combinations of Jack X does he have? But like once he turns the flush draw here, it's just like, yeah, gotta bet again. It's just too good of a card not to.
150.
Okay, so he bets 1/3 again, which is pretty good. This queen over card is really good for him because he is going to have hands that barrel on flop, like an ace queen, king queen, queen jack's obviously just going to be a boat. And so the higher Broadway cards are going to be better for him because he's also just going to have ace king folds and 3-bet. So we do pick up a gut
I'm jamming
shot,
out the whole
and this is
episode.
the size we have to call. We also have a nice blocker in our hand, depending on what the river is, with the ace of clubs, because we obviously block him from being able to have enough flushes, and we're still going to be able to call with our entire range of backdoor flushes on the flop. So because of that, depending on what the turn is, obviously if it doesn't improve our hand specifically, there are some turns like clubs where we kind of get to bluff depending on what he decides to do. And yeah,
He means to say rivers there.
we're just going to take it from there. So a pretty easy call for this size.
Such a brutal card here for Matt because I would love to see on brick rivers what happens. I assume it's going to go bet, land, and fold, I guess. I don't think he's going to hear him with ace high in the spot, but who knows. But just a brutal card because he just wants to continue betting here. Although it's hard to figure out what hands he arrives. And when he bets small in turn, it just allows Landon to arrive on river with more hands, so you kind of just have a mandatory follow through.
So obviously we brick. We don't have any showdown value with this hand, so my inclination is ideally not to check. It's also a good card for my range because a lot of my sort of like logical bluffs and logical double barrels here would include an ace. Not all of them, but many of them. And he still has a lot of hands in range that would hold on for 2 that might need to give up on this card. Hands like pocket pairs, 7x. And there's even some straight draws that we lose to that we would basically, we don't really want to let him win with, you know, like 10 high and hands like that. So I think that we're still going to continue betting. Again, I don't think we need to use massive size. I believe we were 430 going in that street. 300 goes in. Spot's about 730. I'm going to go
Is it boring?
for a size that's around.
It's just a little out of line, but nothing crazy.
$385.
Okay, so here, I was actually thinking about what we decide to do.
DGF, was there ever a doubt that the new pro would hit the ace on the river here?
Depending on the sizing you chose.
What's up, Ben Adler?
Decided to check because it's very easy to look at our hand and say, okay, we have ace king. We need to value bet when he checks to us, but we have to think about the combos that are going to call us in that case. So he does have some worse ace x that would check call, like some ace 10 and some ace wheels, depending on what they were. But because we have the ace of clubs, it's less likely he's going to be barreling the turn with ace high hands, unless he has obviously a hand like ace 10 itself, which is going to be suited, which he would 3-bet versus on the within range, because it would be a little bit too loose to 3-bet a hand like that in this environment anyways, like an ace 10 off. So in this spot, we have to think about how we want to bluff catch, and we're obviously just going to call based on the size he chose. And I think I would also call versus a smaller size too. And we're basically bluff catching, and we're only basically hoping he's going thin with an ace 10 suited. I'm going to lose here a lot, but this is obviously one of the better hands that we're going to have in this spot. It's pretty unfortunate that, no, I think it's pretty good that we have the ace of clubs in our hand, because it's less likely he has an ace himself, because he would be barreling with ace of clubs hands in the turn. So it's just going to be a call. We're going to lose a lot, but sometimes we're going to win. So we're going to pay.
Such a luck box.
Spicy!
Dang. Who threw bet? You threw bet?
He 3-bet me. He came after
Well, I
me.
didn't call.
These young kids know how to lay the trap, you know?
In the bushes.
Yeah, I'm waiting in the weeds.
Ace king, you gotta wait till you hit. And then
That's a drawing hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god. This is the guy that just beat me.
All right, why good to have a club? That's a good question. First of all, I'll answer that in a second. Up there, Matt Kiefer, what's up, man? He said, did you guys hang out a lot off camera? Not a ton. There was some downtime in between. We like every 2 hours we took a break, and we chatted beforehand as well for a little bit, and then we had like a dinner break that we took a little break on. Let me full screen us here. We'll get rid of this. Look, I know what I'm doing. Ready? Watch. Boom. And then we're gonna make this big. There we go. And you want to come into the picture here? So, why?
You gotta watch these buttons.
Oh, okay, yeah. Why is it good to have the ace of clubs there? Why good to have a club? I was trying to think about what he was saying there and what I think about it. I think it's actually not good. I think he doesn't want to have a club. But I don't really know. I have to think about it a little more. So, because like, let's think. If he has the ace high flush draw, then he's definitely barreling turn, and now he makes a pair that has a worse kicker potentially. So it's probably not good to have the ace of clubs, right? What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thank you guys. This is the second week that we've done this. We're going to continue our live stream now. We're going to start our actual live stream. This is the live stream episode 61. But every week at 7:30, I'm going to do that again. I think this week went really long because I was involved in so many of the hands, and it was a 39-minute episode. But yeah, so if you guys are here, hit the like button, please. Do that first. Secondly, if you guys want to listen to our podcast, it comes out every Wednesday. It's called Raising the Nuts. Search for it on any podcast platform. Comes out every Wednesday at 5 a.m. We've done 84 episodes so far, right?
Yeah.
84?
Well, there's more than 84.
Oh, yeah. We've done more than 84, but we're episode 84 in, and then there's bonus episodes. We also will have a bonus episode out this weekend on Saturday
We'll have to edit that.
about psychedelics, if you want to check that out. Mike Trout wants to know how you're doing, Jody.
I'm good.
You might be a little low. This is the same thing that happened last
I'm
time.
tired, but
Okay. Did Solve for Why do any videos of analysis of the players' analysis? Not yet, Daniel Kim.
oh, what the fuck?
They're gonna do it on second thought thing to do some of that stuff. So you guys can check that out. I'm sure they'll have that up there. Also, if you guys want to watch the regular Solve for Why stream, it's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. What else? Oh, and I already said this. Go to pokerrags.us if you want to get a shirt like this or the straddle shirt that I was just wearing. Okay, where are we at here in the chat? So what's going on, everybody? This is the Thursday night live stream. We're going to do this probably for a half hour tonight because it's going to be late by that point.
Kids are still awake too.
Oh,
They
God.
don't have school tomorrow.
Rampage was here in the chat. Wait, did we freeze? We good? Oh, did you just take that back? What happened? Oh,
Did I
went
hit
all
a
the
button?
yeah, it went all the way back in the stream. Okay. Rampage has been here watching to learn to get better. That's cool.
The motherfuck.
Ben Adler said, "Are you both splendid as always?"
Yep. Splendid. Splendorific.
Splendorific.
I can't see the chat.
Mark said hello, Jody.
Hi.
Daniel said hello. Jody, you seem to have
Hi.
gotten paralysis by the poker analysis.
No, I'm not paralyzed.
Psychedelics equal medicine. Can agree with that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Because I just talked for an hour and a
Oh,
half.
there's a yawn.
All right, that's one yawn so far.
Guys, I haven't slept in like 2 weeks, so you'll have to pardon my yawns.
Because I just talked for an hour and a half straight, we're going to jump right into Jody Thinks.
Oh boy.
Are you going to be okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do here on the live stream every Thursday night, we also do this on the podcast every Wednesday, is you guys in the chat will put in a word, a phrase, or a question, and Jody will give her immediate, unfiltered thoughts on those things. Usually what happens is I say the word, and then she repeats the word.
Yeah, I'm going to be really conscious about that and not do that anymore. Because I was
Okay.
listening to that last time, and I was like, holy shit, that's awful. I do it like 100% of the time.
Yeah, you do it a lot.
It's bad.
So get those words, phrases, or questions into the chat here, and then
Ben,
we'll get...
I'm nervous today. Sorry.
Ben is You're nervous?
I'm very nervous.
Jody's very nervous today. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze.
All right. Bless you.
Thank you.
Do you have corona?
Hopefully I don't have the Rona. What's up, Matthew? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Daniel said, I love the profusity of Jody's profanity. I am not nervous at all. And I'm not even really tired either.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying...
Okay. Here we go.
Ramen... is that... Oh, am I reading something?
Yeah, you're
not
reading the
supposed to be?
Jody Thinks stuff. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Oh, should we play the theme music? Should we play the theme music? We'll play the theme music. Let's play the theme music. Ready? Here's the theme music. This theme music was made by the great Anthony and Felix. Anthony has his second kid coming very soon. Little baby Elvis is on the way. Okay.
I need like a blinder up because I keep...
All right.
Is that
Yeah.
Andrew's?
All right,
Did
ready?
you just say mommy?
Yeah.
What?
We're doing the live stream, buddy. You want to come say hello? We're in the office, buddy.
What's the matter? Okay, can I even sit with you? Okay, then come here. 'Cause I can't do it yet.
All right, we'll catch up on Jody Thinks in 1 second. She's taking care of an Andrew situation. How many of you here in the chat were present on the Twitch live stream about 2 years ago when Andrew pooped himself? I bet only one, probably. Oh, wait, there he is. We probably shouldn't talk about it anymore.
Ow.
All right, what's up, buddy? You want to say hi to everybody? No? You tired? All right, you ready to do Jody Thinks?
Yep.
Mescaline.
I don't know what that is.
It's
Is it a drug?
yeah.
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay. Dodgy coin.
Oh, that's a more funny money, right?
Yes, funny money. All right, ramen followed by a 3-minute pizza.
That sounds absolutely disgusting.
Probably got to talk.
What is
speak
a
up
3-minute pizza?
I assume a 3-minute pizza is a pizza that takes 3 minutes to cook.
I used to eat ramen all the time when I was younger, and I loved it, but you couldn't pay me to eat that crap now. No way.
Do you think cocaine and hookers are plus EV before or after a poker session?
Neither?
Wait, neither.
I don't, okay, hold on. I don't quite understand the question, I don't think.
Okay, well, let's answer it 2 different ways.
Okay.
First of all, just bottom line, are they plus EV?
No.
Is one of them plus EV?
No.
Okay. Which is more plus EV, before or after a poker session?
Depends on how your poker session went.
Okay.
If you had a bad one, then maybe after.
Hodl.
I don't know what that is.
HODL. Do you know what that means?
No.
It's a like a meme type thing for. It just means hold, as in you hold your assets for a long time. Like if you're a hodler or holder, however you say it, it means you just buy Bitcoin and you just keep it forever, no matter whether it goes up or down.
What are you doing?
All right. Very, very important pressing question here. Is overtime coming in Charlotte to ruin my life? That's from DGF.
Oh, this is about basketball or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is overtime coming?
What are you doing? I don't know.
Checking your bag when flying?
I have to. I have way too much stuff.
Nick said that's a serious eye roll. Apparently he gave a serious eye roll at one point.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't remember giving an eye roll.
All right. Have you ever grapefruited?
Every single night of my life.
That's not true. If you guys don't know what grapefruiting is, check out the movie Girls Trip. It's pretty great.
Buddy,
Mike
can
Trout.
I have Ava lay in the bed with you? Okay, well, I can't put you in bed right now, so what are you doing?
Mike Trout said he prefers random song placement.
No, that was terrible.
Sunday night, they're going in to get Elvis.
Nice.
Will the Hawks choke?
Yes.
Are the Clippers easy money?
No.
Why is Dennis Smith Jr. so awful?
I don't know who that is.
Is he
What do you think?
breastfeeding?
Who? Andrew? Oh my God, no. I have clothes on, people.
Stone Temple Pilot.
I could take them or leave them. I was never a huge fan of theirs, but
Jameson and Diet.
no, I don't drink diet soda, and I don't like Jameson.
Grapefruiting, DJF.
No, you can't. We can't. You cannot explain what grapefruiting is right now.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
Come on, buddy. Stop.
Jody, looking for your IT expertise. Where can I get a flux capacitor?
You can get it at the flux capacitor store.
Okay, from Michael. What's going on, Michael? My only weaknesses are hungry and sleepy.
What?
My only weaknesses are hungry and sleepy.
I'm supposed to react to that?
Yes.
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
No, I don't really. I'm not comprehending the
Okay.
statement.
Are you weak? Do you feel weak when you're sleepy and hungry? Those are your 2 biggest weaknesses, probably.
Mine?
Yeah. If you get hungry, you're hangry,
Not always.
and if you're tired, not a good combo.
No, being tired is not good, and I'm very tired right now. This kid is a zombie. What am I supposed to do with him?
You gotta just put him in bed real quick. He'll fall asleep in 2 seconds. What is the trophy on the top bookcase? There's 2 of them actually. 2 trophies up here. This one. It says, Man of the Year. I won this. I believe it was in 2018.
He won it from our child. She bought it for him. Don't make up stories. Don't make up
But
stories.
I was the Man of the Year that year.
Because Cam said so.
And you were Mom of the Year also.
Because Cam said so.
Yeah.
All right. Can we pause this for a second?
Yeah, I can answer these questions.
Okay.
You guys can do...
Let's say goodnight to Daddy.
Paper.
What?
Paper.
Paper. Say goodnight to Daddy.
Good night, buddy.
You gonna say goodnight to the people? Say goodnight. Say goodnight. Why are you saying paper? Say goodnight. Say goodnight. Good night. Okay, come on.
All right, let's see. What's up? Let me go up here.
Why do you keep saying paper?
You guys can ask me any questions now. This is no longer Jody Thinks. You got to put the kid in bed. Dream about E-Dunk is a good one. We'll ask Jody that when we come back. Did I have a real cocktail at dinner a few weeks ago? No, still no real cocktails yet. Thinking about doing it soon though. Thinking about having a glass of wine soon. I think. We'll see. What is above the map? This is. So this is a very sentimental thing to me. This is my buddy Andy's hat. Andy passed away in 2012 from cystic fibrosis, and he was one of our good friends. He always wore cowboy hats like this, and so yeah, it gets up here. It's a nice little good luck thing. I also have on my tattoo, if you see right there, that's Andy with his hat. Actually, if you guys have been here from the beginning during the Vlogger in Paradise thing, episode 3 on this vlog, not episode 3, vlog number 3 was about Andy, and like his story and everything. And Andy's mom Pam is still one of our best friends. She helps us out with our Airbnb in Florida. She cleans it and gets it ready for the next people that come in, and she's awesome, and we're still very close with her. And it's actually my screen name in New Jersey on online poker is Pam Certainly, which is after Pam. It was that was Andy's screen name when he played on Full Tilt. So carried it over to me playing online in New Jersey. All right, let's see what we do here. Is Postle guilty? Yeah. All right, let me catch up on these here. Advice for wanting to be a pro poker player. Probably not the best time to do that, to be honest with you. The opportunities to do so are not very big, and probably be better off doing something else. Is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas the best movie ever created? Big fan of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Actually, Jody has not seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas yet, so it's a movie I want her to watch. I do not live in Vegas. I live in New Jersey. Try White Claw. Not a bad idea. Does Matt Vaughn try to read lips during Poker Out Loud? No. Not at all. I mean, if he did, and no, he didn't. I don't think that anybody that was playing on the show with us would try to read lips or not listen to their music. It's not worth it. There's no reason to do so. Have I seen The Voices? No, I have not seen that. Mark, so grapefruiting, as Edison pointed out, grapefruiting is the act of giving a blowjob with the aid of a hollowed out grapefruit that you run up and down the shaft while sucking on the head. That's what it is. Thoughts on mask when playing poker? I mean, first of all, I don't play live at all really anymore, so it doesn't really affect me in any way. Shield, you got to be a shield man. When I did play the few times, I actually liked it quite a bit because I was doing the play every hand challenge and I didn't have to worry about people knowing who I was because I had the mask on. And there is some level of comfort in just not having to worry about what your face is doing. On the other side of things, I'm a field player. I like to see the person and get an idea of what they're up to. So, and it definitely takes away the social aspect, which sucks. Have not seen the movie The Voices. Play Queen Jack like Postle. True. Listen to one of your old podcasts today. What happened with the rude person whose dogs destroyed your Florida home? First of all, Michael, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. That means a lot to us. Anybody who listens to the podcast is all right in my book. And what happened with them? It took a couple weeks, but they actually ended up sending us $500 to pay for the damages that their dog caused and other things. We ran into some other debacles, possibly from those people though, because 6 weeks after they were at our house, we got bed bugs, and that is, I guess, the hatching time for bed bugs. So they may have brought them in the house. We don't know. But yeah, that situation, very frustrating situation for Jody, but it got resolved at least with them paying $500 in damages. Take mushrooms and watch Fear and Loathing. That sounds a little wild. Twinkle update. Have not heard from Twinkle. Where do you play live in New Jersey, or are you an online player? Yeah, I play online in New Jersey. I play PLO online. Don't pretty much never go to the casino. Just play online. Any interest in chess? Nope. Is Fear and Loathing and Las Vegas plus EV or neutral EV compared to Leaving Las Vegas? Leaving Las Vegas. What movie was that? I feel like I watched it, but I don't remember who was in it. How do you know Silent Guy isn't in here? Is it because he's not complaining about Kings? Thanks, Marek. See you, man. Yeah, the bedbug situation was not a good situation. That has been since resolved. Luckily, we did have to lose out on like $1,000, which sucks. But yeah, hopefully you like the podcast, Michael. Like I said, it comes out every week, every Wednesday at 5 a.m. There's a bunch of old episodes you can always listen to hear about what was going on at that time, and it's our favorite thing to do right now, I think, as far as content goes. Landon, what's going on, man? Would you ever consider smoking the ganja again? Probably not. So if you guys are not familiar, I used to smoke weed all the time, and then Jody and I started dating, and I stopped. That was when I was 23, and then I haven't done it again since. I haven't smoked again since then. I did take an edible like a year and a half ago, and it didn't turn out well, so it's pretty unlikely that I end up smoking again anytime soon. Oh, no dislikes equals no sound guy. That makes sense. There is only 56 likes here. I feel like there should be some more likes. Worm equals Trey Mummy's manhood. Yeah, that's from last week's podcast. Leaving Las Vegas is a Nicolas Cage movie. Maybe I never saw it. I don't know. I have to check it out, see if I saw it before or not. Why not challenge Phil Galfond? Well, here's the thing. He's really good. That's first of all. And I wouldn't mind playing him just because it would be a really great learning experience. But except for the fact that I think the minimum he wants to play is 100, 200. So that doesn't seem like a great idea to me. If Top Shots goes to the moon and I have many millions and many, many millions, then maybe we'll take some Galfond action. But unless somebody wants to pay me or wants to stake me to play him, then sure. But that doesn't seem like a good value proposition for anybody.
All right.
Jody's back. Do you tip if the masseuse doesn't give you a happy ending?
My masseuse never gives me a happy ending, so yes.
One of your masseuses does.
You? I don't tip you.
I tip you. What's the most expensive auto repair you've had to do?
Probably when I drove into a pole. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
That was awful. That was like going at a rate of speed of like 1 mile an hour.
One of the previous ones was dreaming of E-Dunk.
I said it's not a dream, it's a nightmare.
Spaceman said a grapefruit sounds aspirational. Dana says, did you and Jody ever smoke together? No. Jody's never actually smoked weed.
Nope. Never.
The last time I ever smoked weed was a very large blunt with a old school Philly poker player named Gerald Cheatham at the Bellagio on one of the top floor suites. And it was December 15th, 2007. There you go. Jose said, edibles are a terrible way of getting back in the pot. You should just find something not too strong, roll up a nice joint, or do a hit or two off bong. Yeah, that's probably true. That's definitely true, actually, if I was going to get back into pot at all.
Did you talk about edibles or something?
Yeah. I think, somebody asked me, Landon asked if I would ever consider smoking the ganja again. We actually did have Michael here. Said he listened to one of our older podcasts and he was asking about what happened with the people who damaged the house. So I explained that situation. Can you be my poker mentor? I would love to be your student. I'm as much as I do enjoy some coaching from time to time. I'm pretty much off that right now. I have a few people that I'm working with still, but once their time is up, then I'll probably be done with that. What's your favorite Afro Man song, Jody?
I don't know. I don't know any songs.
You don't know any Afro Man songs?
I don't know. Do I?
Yes, you do.
Oh. What is it?
Because I got high.
Oh.
Because I got high.
That's the only one I know.
Da 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 da. I gotta stop singing on the podcast, by the way. I'm a terrible singer, and for some reason, I sing every episode. They say it's quite painful if the grapefruit juice leaks to the wrong hole.
Oh. Yikes. I can't even imagine.
But, oh yeah, so Jose, update, by the way. She was not into the weed when we first started dating. But, you know, things change. Sorry.
The pandemic changed me.
Yeah. Mike Trout wants you to crazy rap.
What?
Crazy rap.
I don't know
No.
what that is.
No, I'm sorry. He's saying crazy rap is his favorite Afro Man song.
Oh, I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
What do you think of well done steak?
So when I was younger, when I was a kid, that's all I would eat. I wouldn't eat anything else. And my aunt used to say, like, you and your mother, you don't know how to eat steak. And I was like, whatever. But now I could never eat a well done steak. I always do medium.
What's up, Dalton? Where you been, man? This is the first time I'm seeing you here. You gotta, if you're gonna keep that wrench, you gotta be here on time, man. He said straight up facts. Trevor and Jody, the best looking couple inside poker.
Aw.
It's very nice. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, Mark said the rock through the window. That must have been expensive. I can't remember how much we it wasn't even that much though.
No, we got really lucky because that guy was awesome and he helped us out and he told us that he would do everything that it would cost us less than $500 because that's what our
I think it was $350.
Yeah, it was super cheap.
Yeah. What's going on, Jenny? How's it going? How you doing tonight? We're doing well. Jody's tired.
Look at how you have me stopped on the screen over there. That's terrible.
You look high.
I kind of wish I was, but I'm not.
I mean, you can be soon.
I could never do that on the stream because then I'll be like, my eyes will be red and glassy, and I'll look like I was crying, and somebody might say that Trevor was being abrasive and made me cry all night. You never know.
Jose, good question here. He says, as a professional poker player myself, I find it hard to get back into playing Texas Hold'em after recently becoming mainly a PLO player. How do you find the interest in Texas when it's so linear? I have 0% interest in Texas Hold'em. Zero, none. If I have to go back to playing it, then I wouldn't play it because I think it's just a very boring game. PLO, especially short-handed PLO, is very enjoyable, very fun. And honestly, if I had to play like full ring PLO at the casino, I would be doing something else. I would be selling drugs or anything else. Whatever. Anything other than playing in the casino.
Selling drugs. Please don't.
I'm not. No, listen. The authorities. I'm not actually.
Do not sell drugs.
I didn't mean actual drugs. I mean like Top Shots, selling Top Shots, buying Top Shots. Same thing. Yeah, so I get where you're coming from there, Jose. No love for the No Limit from me either. Which of your children is the pickiest eater? We actually have several picky eaters, but they're not as picky as you might think. We just talked about this today, Jody.
We did. Cam is the pickiest.
Cam is the pickiest, but in the grand scheme of things, they do eat some good foods.
But she will only eat one vegetable. One. She'll only eat red bell peppers, and she doesn't eat any fruit at all, which I don't really care about, but the vegetables thing just kills me. The only time I ever get anything green in her is if I make pancakes out of spinach, which ends up tasting like bananas. But that's it. That's the only thing she eats. So, like, she eats pizza, so she gets some pizza sauce, but, like, that's not, I mean, according to the U.S. government, that's vegetable, but it's not. So, yes, she's the worst by far.
All right, Dalton, we'll forgive you. I know that you're in college. You have Zoom meetings. I get it. I'm sure you're going to watch the replay.
College. Oh my god.
Well, Jody, do you understand? Did you see what they said in the chat?
What?
So,
yes, I did. I don't want to rehash it. It makes me feel old and decrepit. So I don't really want to rehash that. My head was exploding when they were saying the ages and everything. It was terrible.
DGF, when did you play your first hand of casino poker? It was like 2003, 2002? Something like that, right? So I think my first casino hand was 2003.
That seems wrong.
I used to go to, I mean, they can't do anything about it now. I used to play at the Trop when I was under 21.
They can't arrest you?
No, they can't arrest me. Is it offensive to get less than 3 items at Taco Bell? Yes.
Oh, God.
All right, how did we meet Jody, and who made the first move? Dalton, spot on.
Spot on what?
That we're good looking.
Oh, well, thank you. We met through my best friend. My best friend worked with Trevor's friend. She invited me out one night to one of their friends' houses. Trevor was there, so I met him that night, but we did not date for like 5 years after we met. I dated his friend first. He was a fucking asshole, an awful person.
Not anymore.
We're still friends with him now. He was in our wedding. Trevor was in his wedding. It's all good. Water under the bridge. But at the time, he was a freaking disaster. And so then I lost touch from everybody after I broke up with that asshole. And then I went out with my best friend again one night, and she told me that Trevor Savage was coming to the bar that we were going to because he was dating her friend who was going to be there. And so myself and my friend Alicia met my best friend Nikki at the bar, and Trevor came, and we chatted all night long, and he ignored the girl that he was dating. I had a boyfriend at the time, and then eventually then Trevor and I started talking all the time, just like talking over AOL Instant Messenger. That's how long ago it was. And then my boyfriend was not good for me at all. He had no drive in life and just wanted to sleep all day, so it was not a good match. And so I eventually broke up with him, and then the rest is history. Trevor invited me to Atlantic City to come hang out.
If you want to hear the full story of our relationship, episode 2 of our podcast has the full story of our romance. So you can, if you search for Raising the Nuts, you can find the podcast. Go to episode 2. It's way back.
And then he said, who made the first move?
I did.
Trevor did.
Yeah. Got her drunk.
He did. He fed me many drinks.
Jenny said, you don't look tired, Jody.
Thank you.
This is a funny comment. Michael said, Trevor has 0% interest in Texas Hold'em, yet Jody's interest is somehow much lower. NFTs, that's right, Pan. That's what I'll be doing next. All right, Jose said, being a mother and a father of a growing family makes smoking very low on the list of priorities, so I see the need for energy and alertness. We all know the herb is to chill and lower anxiety. True. So Jerry, I don't play I don't play No Limit. That's the thing. I play PLO, so I enjoy PLO. That's why. I mean, I play No Limit heads up, which is fine, but not something I would never go play live poker anymore if I had to. Speaking from experience as a man, there is a fine line to balance its presence in adulthood, and I have no idea, even more so as a father. True. 98. Oh, my God. So, DGF, you were playing poker in the casino before these people were born. Jesus.
I was in high school.
Dalton said, Jody, you graduated like 5 years ago, wasn't it? You only got like 5 years on me. You're hella young yet.
You're very sweet, Dalton. Maybe one day we'll meet in person. You're very kind. But no, I graduated college how many years ago?
You graduated 2007. It's 14 years.
14
I graduated
years ago.
2005 from college.
I went to a 5-year school and then extended my stay a little bit.
Michael said pizza covers all 4 food groups. Tomato sauce for fruits and vegetables, cheese for dairy, crust for grains, and pepperoni or sausage for meat. Healthiest food there is.
He doesn't eat pepperoni or sausage, just
True.
cheese pizza.
All right. Daniel said, Jody, you seem to try out different kinds of diets and openly share about it. As a nutritionist, do you think different diets are good or just overall healthful eating and living?
overall healthful eating and living is the best way to go. But if you're having specific symptoms, then specialized diets are the way to go. It just depends on what's going on. So I try things based on what's going on with me. So I mostly eat paleo, and I stick pretty strongly to that. I sway here and there, but that's like my core diet, and then I'll try things out beyond that to see if it helps alleviate symptoms.
Daniel wants to know, did Trevor have you date his friend so you could see how he was the man for you?
I don't know, because we didn't talk for years after that.
No,
so.
I did it because I had no confidence at all in myself. Seems like a double switcheroo. Mark said his first time at casino was in Melbourne, Australia in 1986. He was 18. Hope that makes you feel better, Jody.
I was, 3 years old. I was 3 years old.
Daniel wants to know what your AIM handle was.
Mine was Jody Lynn 28.
Mine was probably Trey Momi at the time. I had a couple different at the time.
It was
but
Trey Momi at the time for sure.
Ben will be in Vegas July 29th to August 5th. See you guys there. I don't know. We'll see.
That's the day after my birthday.
G. Harvilla said, kids these days will never know how cool AOL Instant Messenger was back in the day. Seriously.
Yeah, you got to set away messages and stuff, put stuff in your profile. It was great.
High school is 18, Jody, and you can play in casinos 3 years later, spring chicken.
High school is 18?
Yeah, you graduated high school at 18.
No, I graduated high school at 17.
That's true.
So did you.
Yeah, we were.
But in 1998, I wasn't a senior. I was a senior in 2001.
It's true.
I graduated.
Curtis, what's going on? Yes, Dalton definitely can have a meetup game at some point.
Yeah.
Curtis, what's up? He said, where did you go to college?
Who? You or me?
Well, we might as well both answer.
I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia.
And I went to Rutgers in New Brunswick.
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Did you and Trevor play the Nervous Game? I don't know what the Nervous Game is. Is that the game that Ben Adler plays every week?
I'll tell you the game that Trevor and I played. We played the game where Trevor pretended like he was amped up on coke while he talked to me and analyzed my body language as I sat next to him on the couch.
I was a nightmare. First of all, I was nervous as hell. I had this incredibly hot girl coming to visit me, and I was morbidly obese. And
you were not morbidly
okay, I wasn't morbidly obese. I was not in good shape. I was not very confident in myself.
But we already knew each other.
We knew each other, but we didn't know each other. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I was just nervous, and like, she was like coming down to hang out with me. I'm like, is this really happening? I'm like, what? Is this really happening? so then I was like super nervous, and then she was like, was your body language good or bad? I couldn't remember.
You were telling me that. So when I sit in a seat, I move a lot. Okay, I move a lot. I think everybody can witness that on the live stream. We talk about it on the podcast. I move constantly, and so I constantly change. Like I sit with my legs crossed, and I switch which leg is crossed over top. You know, like I'm constantly moving around. Then I'll move to a different position. Like I sit on my feet. I sit on one foot. I move constantly. Well, Trevor, I guess, was not aware of this because I was sitting. So you're sitting on the couch, and I was on your right, so just like this, and I had my left leg crossed over my right leg, and you told me that was a sign that I was not into the conversation or something. You were analyzing the way that I had my legs crossed, that I was crossing them away from you, and that was not a good sign. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm just sitting. Like, it's not anything. You're reading into this.
You must have really, really liked me because what a disaster.
But he was talking a mile a minute. Like, he could not slow down his words. And I was like, are you okay? And we had been talking back and forth constantly before this. It's not like this was just, like, sudden out of the blue or anything like that. Like, you just could not get.
I thought I was going to blow it. And I did blow it. I did blow it.
You did? What?
You went back to your boyfriend.
Yeah, but we're married.
And
we've been together for 14 years. I think it's all good.
I blew it then, though.
You didn't blow it.
We could have been together for another 9 months.
I was an idiot. That's all. Okay. You didn't blow it. I was just a dummy.
What were your majors?
My major was information systems.
Mine was political science because I didn't have to go to class. So
Mine was because I really wanted to work in the IT field. That did not last very long.
Mark said, "You're all young. I finished college in 1988. You're only as old as the person you feel." It's true.
It's true. I often feel like I'm a teenager because, like, I look around and I wonder, like, where the hell are my parents? Why aren't they here taking care of shit in this house?
Michael, that's right, man. Rutgers going back to the dance. First time since 1988, I think it was. They were supposed to go last year, obviously, but they canceled it. But Drexel is also going to the NCAA tournament.
Aren't they usually terrible?
Yes. And Rutgers usually terrible also. So, first
Nice.
time ever, probably. Ben, have you ever considered having a PLO mug? PLO not as popular as No Limit Hold'em, but I think it would be interesting. Been dabbling in some PLO here and there. Variance is real. So the problem with it is that not enough people would show up to play it, I think. But I don't know. Maybe if it was in like Texas or something like that where they have a lot of games, then maybe. I would do it just if I was playing just like one table and like not going from table to table, and it would just be one game. Like it'd be fun. The thing that sucks is like I think that live PLO is awful. Like basically any PLO. What?
You think all live poker is terrible?
Yeah, I don't really have any desire to do it, but specifically live PLO, unless they made it four-handed, maybe six-handed, but four-handed. Let's cap it at four-handed, then we can do it. But aside from that, can't do it. It's just a terrible game. Dalton said, "Just saying, if I knew someone as good-looking as Jody was coming to a date with me, I'd be nervous as well." Trevor, it's all right, man. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I
But
sealed the
it
deal.
was like beyond nervous. It was, you legit seem like you were on coke.
How was I the next time after that?
What did we do?
I mean, we didn't see each other again in person until I think the next time I came over to your house, like in December at some point. It was like right before the Saints and Eagles played, actually.
Came to my house?
Yeah, we were just like hanging out in your room. We didn't do anything at all. You still had a boyfriend.
Wait, why were we hanging out in my room?
I don't know.
That's super weird because my dad didn't live there anymore, did he?
I don't remember.
That's weird.
I don't remember what we were doing.
I don't know.
But it was definitely like we didn't like kiss or anything, but it was definitely crossing some lines of yeah, whatever. Like there was no interaction, but it was clear that we were into each other.
Yeah, I don't remember having any like strong feelings about the next time. The first time I was definitely like, "Oh my god, are you okay?"
Yeah.
But not the next time, so.
Did I just get a haircut? Yes, I got a haircut on
Yesterday.
Yesterday, was it? Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, I'm a pro poker player. Of course, I'm trying to pick up tells from how you sit and fidget. That's what I was doing. I was trying to get a read on your situation.
So, but now 14 years later, wait, hold on. But 14 years later, do you understand that I just move around a lot?
Yeah, I know you move around a lot. But how about here's Jody for you, right? So I was living right outside of Atlantic City in my aunt's apartment. Right, we talked a bunch. She came down and she's telling me, I don't know if you still stand by this. She told me for a long time, "Oh, I didn't even know anything was going to happen. I thought we were just friends."
I did. I thought we were just friends. I did not know that you were going to try to put the moves on me.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Like, you came down, we've been talking a bunch, we drink a bunch, and you just, but like...
Oh, I think after once we started drinking, then maybe I thought something.
I mean, in the back of your mind, you have to be thinking like at some point you have to be thinking like, "Oh, what am I going to do if he tries to kiss me?" Right?
No. Why would I think about that? But why would I think about it? Like, what am I going to do?
Well, yeah, like you're going down to see, you're driving an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, to see somebody who I had been friends with. So, no, I did not, I was not expecting... Listen, here's the deal. I don't think, your stance is that everybody is trying to F me. That's your stance, right? That is not my stance. My stance is the total opposite. Like, no one is trying to do that. I never thought that everybody was trying to, come on to me.
I want to reiterate that that's not necessarily my current stance, right? Like, now it's a lot different. I think a lot of people are interested in that for sure, But like, in just everyday life, it's whatever. But see?
What?
DGF said, Jody, that's clueless. Call you share.
It's not clueless. Listen, I don't have like the male perspective. So to me, I'm just like, I don't know. Also, I've never viewed myself as some smoking hot person. So to me, I was just like some, who cares? Like just passing in the wind. Nobody's looking at me. Listen, I've told you this though. Like I've gone out, I've spent a lot of time in bars. No one ever approaches me. Ever. Even when I was single, people did not approach me. I think it's because I have major resting bitch face and they're probably terrified to talk to me. But I don't know. And people really did not try to come over and talk to me. So then that probably like reinforced in my head like, oh, you must be like hella nasty because nobody wants to talk to you.
It's a good thing they didn't. You had to settle for me.
I didn't settle for you.
PLO should be the evolution of the poker boom. When you come to Florida, please come to Miami. There's PLO scene at the Seminole Hard Rock and Hialeah Park Casino that plays regularly. I'll check it out. Jerry said, Jody's exactly the type of woman who would make me extremely nervous. Strong, driven, and smoking hot. There you go, see? Were you guys hanging out in Jody's room or just hanging out? No, we were just hanging out. Just straight up not doing anything bad.
I don't even remember this.
Yeah. I know that at one point we were laying on the bed. And that's like, that was like,
Wait, that's the next time we hung out?
I think so. I don't think there was any other time. And then we went out to the diner, we started hanging out, stuff like that. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Okay, keep it straight.
Jody, you were right about Atlanta choking. Thank you, Dalton.
It's terrible.
Michael said the insurance companies are trying to F you, Jody. Was Jody just naive when two of you first met, or just oblivious? Or was it that she was just trying to hide how much she had for the hots for the Savage?
Maybe oblivious and... what was the second one that he said? Wait, go back up. I can't see. Naive or both, I guess.
Trevor tries to use male rationale thinking of explaining Jody's female behavior. We live in different worlds.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing.
Every smoking hot woman thinks they're not smoking hot. Ben said he picked his cousin up at the bar.
Oh, come on, Ben, with the damn cousin stuff.
People with good looks are hard to approach here. It takes a lot of courage and it hurts when you get shut down. Jenny said your confidence, it scares them.
I don't know.
There might have been some heavy petting going on that day. I might have been rubbing her back in a very creepy way, but she was accepting it.
What? Stop rubbing my back in a creepy way right now.
Okay. All right. You ready to shut this down and go to bed?
Whatever.
I'm getting hot. Ben said what? I drove him home from work.
Jeez.
All right, guys.
Did you say you're getting hot?
I'm very hot, yeah.
Okay.
All right, couple things, guys, before we wrap this up. First of all, next week, on Tuesday, you can watch the Solve for Why Poker Out Loud live stream, Tuesday at 7 o'clock on their channel. Next week, 7:30 on this channel, I'll do episode 3 of the Poker Out Loud, followed by episode 62 of the live stream with this one.
With this one? I don't have a fucking name?
It's beautiful Jody. You can listen to episode 85 of the podcast by searching Raisin the Nuts on any podcast platform. Go check that out. And then, I'm not Matt.
Yeah, who the hell's Matt?
I'm Trevor, not Matt. It's okay. And
oh, Matt, it's been so nice getting to know you all these years.
Yeah, Jerry, I'm Trevor. It's all good though, man. I'm not no hating on the words. It's all good. We accept anybody new coming in. And if you did like this stream, check out the podcast that comes out every Wednesday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern time. Every Wednesday, you won't miss it. Also, this Saturday, there'll be a bonus episode where we talk to a wild moose, very nice guy named a wild moose, about psychedelics. I couldn't remember. I was about to say something else about psychedelics. Jerry, no worries, man. Michael, very nice to meet you too. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, he called me this one.
Sorry.
Real nice.
Sorry.
Real nice.
Jody does the what the F Trevor face very well. Michael, you were an awesome contributor here. We do this every Thursday, and hopefully you enjoyed this. It was nice getting to meet you as well.
Just
So.
listen to the fucking podcast, okay?
We love the podcast. Listen to the podcast. All right.
And go buy merchandise, pokerrags.us.
Pokerrags.us if you want to buy Raising Nuts
You can
merchandise.
get this quality
Or
shirt
you're
right
gonna
here.
play So Good Tomorrow shirt, or the Straddle shirt that I was wearing on the Poker Out Loud stream, and a bunch of other great designs. Pokerrags.us. There's a new Aspiring Whale one too. You gotta check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
And every time an item gets purchased, Jody gets very happy. And when
true.
Jody gets very happy, I get very happy. And DGF gets happy, and when DGF gets happy, I get happy. So go do that.
Michael, I know. I was just kidding. I did not take offense to it whatsoever.
What's up, Derek? Derek is here, and we're just in time to sign out.
Oh, hi, Derek.
Jose, thanks for coming around tonight too, man. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for the feedback and questions. Good night, Pan. Good night, guys. See you next week.